Your heart works quietly every moment of the day. It does not ask for attention when things are going well, and that is exactly why many people notice it too late. They begin to feel a little pressure in the chest, a little shortness of breath while climbing stairs, a little more fatigue after meals or during simple chores, and they tell themselves that this must be normal aging. But the heart often gives subtle warnings before a serious event happens. The danger is not only that a heart attack can be severe, the danger is that daily life can look completely ordinary, right up until the moment it is no longer ordinary at all. That is why fear is not the answer. Awareness is. Once people understand how the heart becomes vulnerable, and which daily habits slowly increase the burden on the arteries, they begin to see that prevention is not a mystery. It is built into ordinary meals, ordinary movement, ordinary rest, and ordinary choices repeated over time. Arteries do not usually become unhealthy in a single day. They change gradually. Salt becomes a little too common. Fried food becomes a little too frequent. Walking becomes less regular. Stress becomes background noise. Sleep becomes shorter and lighter. Weight rises slowly. Blood pressure drifts upward. Blood sugar becomes harder to control. Cholesterol numbers begin to move in the wrong direction. None of these changes always feels dramatic on its own, but together, they can make the inner environment of the blood vessels less flexible and less healthy. The heart then has to work harder to send blood where it needs to go, and the body pays the price in quiet ways before the problem becomes obvious. Many people think heart protection starts with expensive medicine, complicated supplements, or intense exercise plans. In reality, the foundation is usually much simpler. The table comes first. The rhythm of the day comes first. A sustainable routine matters more than a dramatic plan that only lasts a week. This is especially important for older adults. The best heart routine is not the one that sounds impressive. It is the one that can be repeated without strain, without fear, and without exhaustion. Food is one of the most powerful places to begin. A heart-friendly meal does not have to be fashionable or expensive. It is usually moderate, balanced, and less extreme. It is less salty, less greasy, and less rushed. Many people are used to soups, stews, sauces, pickled side dishes, late-night snacks, and processed convenience foods. These choices may feel familiar and comforting, but when they become daily habits, they can place a quiet burden on the cardiovascular system. On the other hand, simple foods that are easy to prepare can support a more stable pattern. Vegetables in different colors, beans, tofu, fish, whole foods prepared with less salt, fruit in reasonable portions, nuts in moderation, and steady meals that do not swing between restriction and overeating, all help create a gentler environment for the body. It is important to understand that heart health is not built by one miracle food. It is shaped by the overall pattern. Many people want a single answer. They ask which one ingredient they should buy, which one juice they should drink, which one supplement they should take. But health is rarely about one magical addition. It is often about reducing repeated harm, while building a more stable daily rhythm. Adding healthy food matters, but removing daily excess matters too. A very salty meal, a heavy late dinner, frequent processed meats, constant snacking on highly fried foods, and long periods of inactivity can quietly undo the benefits of better choices elsewhere. That is why prevention is not only about what you include, it is also about what you stop normalizing. Breakfast deserves special attention because it often sets the tone for the rest of the day. When breakfast is skipped or replaced with only coffee, energy can become unstable. Hunger can build too aggressively, and later meals can become harder to control. A calmer start is often better than a heavier one. Water first, then a balanced meal with protein, and familiar foods that do not overwhelm the body can make the entire day more manageable. Eggs, tofu, fish, vegetables, and a moderate amount of staple carbohydrates can create a steadier beginning than highly sweet or highly salty choices. The speed of eating also matters. When meals are rushed, fullness arrives late and overeating becomes easier. When meals are slower, the body receives the food with less stress, and digestion often feels more comfortable. The heart does not only respond to what is eaten, it also responds to how life is lived around meals. The body often sends warnings before a major heart event, and people should not dismiss those warnings just because they are not dramatic. Chest discomfort may not always feel sharp. It can feel like pressure, heaviness, squeezing, tightness, fullness, or a strange discomfort that is difficult to describe. Some people feel it in the chest, Others notice it spreading into an arm, the shoulder, the neck, the jaw, the back, or the upper stomach area. Some notice shortness of breath that feels unusual for the level of activity. Others break into a cold, sweat, feel nauseated, dizzy, weak, or suddenly unwell without a clear reason. These symptoms should not be handled with denial or delay. Waiting to see whether they disappear can be dangerous, because heart-related symptoms may come and go before becoming more severe. When the pattern feels clearly different from normal, especially when chest discomfort and breathing trouble or sweating appear together, it is much safer to seek emergency help than to rationalize the symptoms away. One of the most common mistakes is assuming that silence means safety. High blood pressure may produce no obvious sensation. Unhealthy cholesterol can exist without daily pain. Blood sugar may drift upward long before it produces dramatic symptoms. This is why routine checks matter so much. Numbers are not there to frighten people. They are there to reveal direction. Once people know whether blood pressure, blood sugar, cholesterol, and body weight are moving toward better control or further risk, they can respond with purpose instead of guessing. The body is honest over time. When habits improve, even gradually, people often begin to notice that they wake up with less heaviness, walk with more ease, recover more quickly, and feel less breathless during ordinary activity. These changes do not always happen overnight. They accumulate quietly, just as the damage did. Movement is another place where people often overcomplicate things. Many older adults worry that they cannot protect their hearts unless they follow intense exercise programs. In truth, the most valuable movement is often the movement that feels safe and repeatable. Walking is one of the most practical examples. A short outdoor walk, even if it begins with only a few minutes, can help create a healthier daily pattern. Gentle stretching in the morning can wake the body up and reduce the stiffness that keeps people inactive for the rest of the day. Standing up more often, breaking long sitting periods, moving around the home during television, time, and choosing consistency over intensity are all meaningful. Exercise should feel like training the body, not punishing it. The goal is not to force the heart into fear. The goal is to help it work more efficiently and more comfortably over time. Stress matters as well. Heart health is not separate from emotional life. Persistent worry, frequent anger, social isolation, and poor sleep all shape the internal state of the body. When the mind remains tense, the body often follows. Breathing becomes shallow. Sleep becomes fragmented. Appetite becomes unstable. Blood pressure and heart rate become harder to keep calm. That is why simple calming habits deserve respect. Slow breathing, light stretching, time outdoors, quiet music, gentle conversation, laughter, prayer, or reflection, and moments of real rest can all lower the sense of constant internal pressure. These are not luxury habits. They are part of the maintenance of the nervous system, and the nervous system influences the heart every day. Sleep should also be protected. Late meals, overstimulation at night, screens carried too close to bedtime, irregular bedtimes, and broken sleep can all make the next day harder. Poor sleep can increase fatigue, worsen food choices, reduce movement, and amplify stress. A softer evening routine often benefits the heart more than people realize. Medication is another area where caution is essential. Some people stop prescribed medicine because they feel better. Others take more than instructed because they feel afraid. Both choices can be risky. Medication should not be adjusted based on mood or guesswork. Lifestyle improvement and medical treatment are not enemies. They work together. Food, movement, stress control, sleep, and routine monitoring create the ground. Proper medical guidance builds on that ground. It is also important not to let fear become the main message. The purpose of learning about heart risk is not to make life smaller. It is to make choices clearer. No one can remove every risk from life, but many risks can be reduced. A little less salt at the table, one more short walk each day, fewer late-night heavy meals, more attention to the body's signals. A checkup that is no longer postponed. These choices may look small in isolation, but together they shape the future. The body remembers repetition. It remembers the foods that burden it and the foods that support it. It remembers long weeks of inactivity and long weeks of steady movement. It remembers stress that is ignored and stress that is gently managed. This is why it is never useful to say it is too late. As long as daily choices still exist, direction can still change. Families can make this easier by changing together. When one person tries to eat differently, While everyone else keeps the same high-salt, high-fat pattern, consistency becomes harder. Shared meals with less salt, short walks after dinner, and open conversations about blood pressure. Cholesterol and warning signs can transform prevention from a lonely struggle into a household rhythm. For older adults living alone, structure matters even more. Regular meal times, intentional movement, less time. Sitting without interruption and regular contact with others can all support better heart health. Simplicity is good. Neglect is not. Many people may be living right now with recurring chest pressure, unusual fatigue, or shortness of breath and explaining it away as digestion, age, weather, or stress. But the body does not usually send repeated warnings without a reason. A new pattern deserves attention. Chest discomfort with shortness of breath, sweating, dizziness, nausea, or pain spreading to the arm, jaw, neck, or back should be treated seriously. Time matters greatly in suspected heart emergencies. Faster action can protect more heart muscle and improve the chances of a better recovery. In the end, heart protection is not reserved for experts or athletes. It belongs inside normal life. The arteries are invisible, but they are listening to daily choices all the time. They register the salty meal, the missed walk, the restless night, the processed snack, the skipped checkup. But they also register the corrections. They respond to the calmer plate, the gentle routine, the consistent walk, the better sleep, the smaller late dinner, and the decision not to ignore warning signs. That is why the goal is not perfection. The goal is a more thoughtful daily pattern. You do not need a dramatic transformation overnight. You need a routine that respects the heart. Before the heart is forced to ask for help. That means looking at the table differently, moving a little more regularly, resting more intentionally, taking symptoms seriously, and refusing to dismiss every warning as age. The heart has spent a lifetime working for the body without complaint. The least we can do is create a daily life that makes its work lighter, steadier, and safer. Start with one meal, one walk, one earlier bedtime, one checkup appointment, one decision not to delay when something feels wrong. A healthier future is often built exactly that way, not by one heroic moment, but by many ordinary moments done with a little more wisdom and care.